Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at a very exciting piece of hardware, the MINIX NR774. Mini PCs have come a long way, and this one with its AMD Ryzen 7 8745HS processor and Radeon 780M integrated graphics is a serious contender for a lot of different users. Whether you're a gamer, a creative professional, or just someone who wants to declutter their workspace, this might just be the solution you've been looking for. In this video, we'll be unboxing it, diving into its specs, testing its performance with productivity and gaming benchmarks, and we'll be seeing if it lives up to the hype. Inside the box, we get a user manual, then we get the main unit itself, which is our mini PC. We'll take a look at this in a moment. Then we get a lot of other things underneath this partition. We get a metallic Visa mount with all of the necessary screws, an HDMI cable to connect to an external display, and finally a power adapter, which is a 120 watts, 19 volts, and 6.32 amps with a detachable power cable. The plug I received here is the European version, which may vary for you according to your region should you decide to buy this mini PC. Coming back to the mini PC now, it is incredibly small and dense. The build quality feels solid, and yet it weighs just under 750 grams. It has a sleek, modern design that won't look out of place in any setup. At the top, we get the MINIX branding along with stickers for both the Ryzen 7 CPU and the operating system, which in this case is Windows 11 Pro, which comes pre-installed in it. Awesome. On both the left and right sides of the mini PC, we get a lot of ventilation holes with the exception of a Kensington lock, which is there only on the left side. At the front, we have the power button, two USB Type-A 2.0 ports, a USB Type-C 4.0 port with power delivery 3.0, a headphone microphone combo jack, and a reset button. Around the back is where the real magic happens. We've got dual 2.5 GHz RJ45 Ethernet ports, a game changer for anyone who needs fast, reliable, and stable wired connections with redundancy built in. You've also got multiple USB ports, including two USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 2 ports, which is an upgrade from the ones at the front of the device. And then the star of the show for display connectivity, an HDMI 2.1 port, a DisplayPort 1.4, and another USB Type-C 4.0 port, which is exactly the same version as the one at the front. That's right, this tiny PC can drive up to 4 displays simultaneously, including an 8K display, provided you already have an 8K monitor, of course. But if you already have a dual monitor, such as this one, then you should be able to use up to 6 displays, since these monitors basically just need one USB Type-C cable in order to work. Ventilation holes can be seen here as well at the rear of the mini PC, where we can also see the active cooling fan this PC gets. And for an even cleaner desk, it comes with a Visa mount, so you can hide this little guy right behind your monitor if you want. So what's powering this compact beast? At its heart is the AMD Ryzen 7 8745HS processor. It's an 8-core 16-thread CPU with a boost clock of up to 4.9 GHz. This is a very capable processor for both everyday tasks and more intensive workloads. And for graphics, we're looking at the integrated AMD Radeon 780M. Now don't let this integrated part fool you. This is one of the most powerful integrated GPUs in the market right now. We also get triple band Wi-Fi 6E along with Bluetooth 5.2 for connectivity, which is not bad at all in my opinion. The internal hardware of the MINIX NR774 mini PC can be seen once we get rid of the 4 recessed screws at the bottom, after which the top of the device comes off. Then we need to unscrew 2 additional screws that hold the inner plate and a small fan in their place. This mini PC comes with 32 gigs of dual channel DDR5 RAM at 56 MHz, which should be plenty for multitasking. And for storage, we have a 1TB PCIe 4.0 NVMe SSD. The best part, this mini PC supports up to an overkill 256 gigs of RAM, and it has 2 M.2 slots, so you can also expand your storage to a massive 8 TB, 4 TB each I assume. This kind of upgradability is just fantastic for a machine of this size. Setting up the MINIX NR774 is quite straightforward. Simply plug in the power cable, press the power button, and follow the on-screen instructions. That's it. This entire process took me around 45 to 50 minutes, which includes downloading any new Windows updates. Now let's confirm all the hardware specs first. We do get 1 TB of storage in this mini PC, AMD Radeon 780M iGPU with 6 gigs of memory, which we can change. I'll show you guys how in just a bit. We also get the claimed 32 gigs of RAM along with the Ryzen 7 8745HS processor. We do also get the 64-bit Windows 11 Pro operating system with version 24H2, and we can confirm the same here as well, that Windows is in fact active. I've used a DisplayPort cable to connect the mini PC to my Alienware gaming monitor, and it does support both Full HD up to 360Hz as well as 4K resolutions up to 180Hz, and the monitor does also support HDR, which shows up here as well. I also downloaded the hardware info app to cross-verify the information, and it all checks out here as well. The only thing worth pointing out here is the TDP of 54 watts, the dual Ethernet ports, which are both the Realtek RTL8125 Gaming 2.5 GBE. We also have info for the Wi-Fi 6E from MediaTek MT7922 160 MHz, and at last the current CPU and iGPU temperature readings with no running tasks at the moment apart from OBS to record the screen. And finally, in Task Manager, we can verify the current utilization of the CPU, RAM as well as the GPU, which are minimal at the moment. Out of the total 32 gigs of RAM, we get 25.8 gigs of usable memory. The difference of total RAM here is because 6.2 gigs of it has been reserved for the iGPU by default. Speaking of GPU, let's now try and modify the shared memory allocation from 6 gigs to something else. In order to do that, let's first head over to the settings, then system, then recovery, and then click on the restart now button to enter the advanced startup. Then go to troubleshoot, then advanced options, then UEFI firmware settings, and then the restart button. The PC will restart and take us straight to BIOS. Here, all you need to do is go to the Advanced tab, then click on GFX Configurations, change the option from Auto to UMA Specified next to iGPU Configuration. And then in the settings right below this, we get several options to modify the iGPU memory from as low as 512 megabytes to all the way up to 16 gigs. Keep in mind that this is the RAM bandwidth being shared here, so the higher you go here, the less RAM you will end up with. For reference, I tried assigning 16 gigs of RAM as iGPU shared memory here, and this is what I found. Out of the total 32 gigs of RAM, now we get 15.8 gigs of usable memory. The difference of total RAM here is because 16.5 gigs of it has been reserved for the iGPU. I even tried assigning half of this, which is 8 gigs of RAM, as iGPU shared memory, and what I observed is that out of the total 32 gigs of RAM, we now get 23.8 gigs of usable memory. And this time around, the difference of total RAM is because 8.5 gigs of it has been reserved for the iGPU. Anyways, I'm going to be setting it up as automatic like most people in order to continue with the testing. No matter what configuration I went with, the mini PC has been performing really well, and for all general tasks like web browsing with a dozen open tabs, using Microsoft Office and streaming 4K videos, it's buttery smooth, no lag, no stuttering whatsoever. Let's get to the numbers now. I ran it through a few tests. The 3D Mark test took a bit over 2 minutes to complete. This tests the 3D graphics rendering and CPU processing capabilities of a computer, and I think the results are pretty good for a PC with these specs. Then I ran the Cinebench tests for both single and multi-cores. These ones test a computer's CPU and GPU performance by rendering a detailed 3D scene using industry standard Cinema 4D and Redshift rendering engines. Both these tests took quite some time to complete, around 10 to 15 minutes each. The Cinebench multi-core score of 14,917 is a very strong performance, indicating that the CPU is capable of handling demanding, multi-threaded tasks like 3D rendering with high efficiency. And as for the single-core Cinebench score of 1688, it is also a very strong, high-end result that is great for gaming and single-threaded tasks. This score indicates the CPU's excellent performance in applications that don't use many cores, such as most video games, web browsing, and other everyday computing activities. This is probably the reason all day-to-day activities on this mini PC have been buttery smooth in my experience. And finally, the last test I performed on the MINIX NR774 was a Crystal Disk Mark test, which tests the read and write speeds of a storage device, which in this case is the 1TB SSD. For creative work, I edited a short full HD video project. The Ryzen 7 8745HS handled it with surprising ease. Rendering times were impressive for a machine without a dedicated GPU, and the 32 gigs of RAM meant we could work with multiple layers and effects without a hitch. Here I was able to render a 10-minute and 9 seconds video in about 2.5 minutes, all of this while running OBS in the background on a secondary display just so I could capture this footage in the process. Now for the part many of you are waiting for, gaming. The Radeon 780M is a beast for an iGPU, and I tested 5 different games on this MINIX NR774. In less demanding titles, you can easily hit high frame rates for a fantastic fantastic competitive experience. For Counter-Strike 2 in high video settings, which by the way was recommended by the game itself, I was able to get between 50 to 55 FPS. The game was smooth as you can see for yourself and very enjoyable too. Next up is Fortnite, for which I had auto set the quality settings, and it seems the game went with mostly medium options to make it play better on this mini PC. I was easily able to reach 70 to 75 FPS, which is really good for a PC of this size. The game was lag free and really fun. The next game is a fairly new title and perhaps demands a good enough graphics card to work smoothly, which is why Doom: The Dark Ages was a bit of a disappointment on this mini PC, as even in low quality settings I was able to get away with just 20 to 25 FPS. The game is somewhat playable and enjoyable too if you can manage to ignore the not so smooth textures of the game environment and the occasional frame drops. This also was the only game in my testing which made the PC a bit hot. Even the fans were spinning a lot faster during this game. So personally, I would not recommend playing these sort of high graphic intensive games on this mini PC. For the next two games, the AMD Radeon just didn't show the FPS counter on the screen, which was a bummer. Not sure what happened here. I ran the demo of Hell Is Us in medium settings and the game was pretty much alright. It doesn't seem to be a high paced game, so the lower FPS count didn't seem to bother me too much, and the game was pretty smooth too. And the last game I tested was of course Hollow Knight, which is now one of my favorite games. Never played it before this video, to be honest. I had set the video settings to medium quality initially, and later on I did set it to the maximum quality possible, and still Hollow Knight was super smooth to run throughout my playtime and really enjoyable. All in all, this MINIX NR774 is not a high-end gaming PC, but for a machine this size, the gaming performance is seriously impressive. And as for the thermals, this PC has a dual fan cooling system, one for the CPU and another for the SSD. During my testing, the CPU stayed at a reasonable temperature, and while the fans do kick in under load, they are relatively quiet and not distracting at all. So who should buy the MINIX NR774? If you're looking to save space and have a clean setup, this is an excellent choice. It's a fantastic productivity machine for students and professionals. It's also a great option for a home theater PC, as it can handle 4K streaming and local media with ease. And for the casual or light gamer, this offers an incredible amount of performance in a small form factor. It's a testament to how powerful integrated graphics have become. You no longer need a massive tower to have a capable PC. Not to mention that it's absolutely portable too if you use the MINIX TP170 wall adapter that can power up the device with a single USB-C cable, along with any connected portable monitors or even a touchscreen monitor, in which case you might not even need a mouse. One less gadget to worry about. What do you think of the MINIX NR774? Let me know in the comments below. If you are interested in picking one up, I've left links in the description of this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tech reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.